Evening and welcome to Kings Meadow, a game that never needs a big build-up. We're going to do it anyway. Chelsea versus Arsenal in the PL2. There's always bragging rights between these two. Chelsea have found it difficult against tonight's opposition in recent history, including a 4-1 defeat the last time the two sides met. Tonight, though, we hope that's going to be very, very different. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Joe Flemons, and I'm delighted to say I'm in the company of the brilliant Sam Parkin, who's tasted these nights time and time again, mate. How does it feel?
Yeah, they're big games. I think that the two North London clubs, bizarrely at this level, are the ones that you really want to get your teeth into. Always competitive, Arsenal, and the Tottenham game obviously is a huge rivalry as well. So they're wanting a little bit of revenge after what happened at St Albans early part of the season, but much changed. The Arsenal lineup in particular, some players that were starring on that occasion no longer at the club, out on loan or moved on permanently. So hopefully it's a night for the boys in blue. Absolutely,
mate. Yeah, one or two new faces or newer faces in the Chelsea lineup this evening as well, including the goalkeeper, Gaga Slonina. Now, he's someone that we're going to talk about in a second. Hopefully, he's going to be the difference maker as Chelsea continue to try and push on the tails of Manchester City. 5-0 winners on Saturday, City were against Everton. So that gap is five points. They have got to play each other in about a month, 6 weeks' time. So title race still very much within Chelsea's grasp. That goal difference looking very different. But like I said, when you add a top-quality goalkeeper to your group, that's always going to be interesting. He's a player that we're going to talk about and focus on a little bit tonight, Sam. Hopefully we won't get to talk about him too much in the game, because that means that we're doing a fantastic job at keeping Arsenal quiet. But he's a big character, signed from Chicago Fire in the summer. He continued the MLS season with Chicago Fire until December, but he's a huge personality, big goalkeeper, very good on the ball, commanding, and there's a lot of potential and a lot of hype about him.
Yeah, and got the experience of playing a lot of first-team football with Chicago Fire. Already made his international bow as well, so he comes to the club with really good experience. We'll hope he's not maybe as busy as he was at Liverpool last time out, where he faced quite a number of shots, but he'll be really pleased to have got that clean sheet under his belt. And of course, invariably, it helps the rest of the team. It helps the back three, the back five enormously if you've got someone behind you that's got the stature and got the confidence. And at this level, it's really important, I think, to have a strong foundation, and hopefully he's going to go on and become a Chelsea first-team regular.
Absolutely, I think that's certainly the idea for him. Like you said, already made his USA team debut, Bao, which is the youngest starting goalkeeper for the men's senior team in their history. You know, there's a lot of hype about him from US football in MLS, and again, these are the kind of games, though, that I guess you do get a test, because we'll come onto the teams a little bit more in detail in a second. But Emile Smith-Rowe starts for Arsenal tonight, you know, a player that's played in the Premier League copious amounts of times, played in FA Cup semi-finals, finals, etc. If you're going to test yourself and you're going to go the distance, tonight's a night where you show just how ready you are.
Yeah, always a big game against Arsenal, but these nights become even more important, mouth-watering, when the team sheets get exchanged and you see someone like Smith-Rowe. That'll just improve the intensity probably in the Chelsea performance, you would hope. The players will really enjoy being faced with that this evening, and likewise, you know, Slonina, Vale, to name two, Hutchinson, that needs no introduction to the Arsenal boys. So there's a little bit of spice in there as well, and there's a few players in the Chelsea lineup that have made their first team bow. So yeah, it should be a really good quality game. And like I said, you know, Chelsea were humbled somewhat by quite a large scoreline at Arsenal earlier on in the season. They'll be wanting to put that right this evening.
Absolutely right. Here is that team that we've been alluded to, with Gaga Slonina in goal, Alfie Gilchrist captains aside. We're thinking of back three, midfield four with Lewis Hall in the heart of it alongside Ben Elliott. Dion Rankin's been in fantastic form in PL2 so far this season. Top scorer Omari Hutchinson leads the line. Like Sam said, needing no introduction to Arsenal fans, and this fixture as well. He's had a number of brilliant games for the other side. Let's hope it switches places tonight. Here's the Arsenal team for you. Yeah, number 10, Emile Smith-Rowe, the one that will jump off the page for everyone else. Lino Sosa, another player that has made his first team squad bow without actually making a debut, and Ethan Nwaneri on the substitutes bench, the youngest ever Premier League player when he came off the bench for Arsenal against Brentford at the start of the season. There is Gaga Slonina in all orange this evening. Very much looking forward to this one, and especially, like we said, with the test and with the run that Chelsea have got to come. They've got a number of difficult fixtures the next few weeks, and this is obviously one that stands out to every Chelsea fan, but Manchester United not far away, Liverpool round the corner as well, and then just to finish the season off, City away, Spurs away, and Brighton at home. So yeah, difficult one, but tonight's one of those nights, Sam, where I think, you know, you can make a statement by beating a local rival, but also you are chasing the pack. You need to get points on the board tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and considering that Arsenal are 6 points behind, 2 games in hand, they'll be breathing down Chelsea's neck should they win away from home this evening. So yeah, to cut the gap to 2 points behind City, they go to West Ham, I think, next, who are in better form than they were early part of the season. So it puts a little bit of pressure on them. And the Chelsea players sitting in second will be thinking about achieving something brilliant this season, getting some silverware. Speaking to a few of the players a few weeks ago, and they've been on a brilliant run under Mark Robinson, and hopefully they can get back to winning ways after what was a good point up in Liverpool recently.
Absolutely right, yeah, 0-0 the last time this side took to the field, and hopefully this evening a clean sheet, but also level that with something to break their deadlock and get Chelsea 3 points. We are underway here at Kings Meadow as Arsenal getting a feel for the ball early on, and straight away, very early on, Chelsea and Mason Burstow making sure that it's not going to be a comfortable night for anyone involved. An early centre-forwards tackle there, unfortunately, Sam. Is that harsh to say?
Possibly, yeah. I'm just going to be interested in the way they set up the front three, because around about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, we started seeing this a bit more readily at this level. The kind of number 10, out-and-out number 10 in the hole, and then 2 physical strikers. Just wondering if it's going to be Hutchinson in the 10 or maybe Vale playing in there. Whatever way they do set up, it gives the midfield players a nice option to just be a little bit more direct than maybe we would see invariably from a Chelsea side. Those balls down the side of Arsenal centre-halves for willing runners, Hutchinson, Vale or Burstow, have played really well for Chelsea, I believe, in the last stretch of games. Just going a little bit back to front more than they would normally do so. It's always good keeping possession and dictating proceedings, but if you've got that ball when you can hurt the opposition quickly, why not play it?
Absolutely, a driving run from Joel Adeu to announce himself onto the game so far. But Matt Smith with the armband on for Arsenal here, the number 6. League experience with Charlton and Swindon, and early touch of the ball for Emile Smith-Rowe as well. Opportunity for Bandera to try and get him behind, but doesn't receive the ball back from his teammate. Chelsea can force them all the way back here. Like you said, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it does look initially the way they set up there, with Vale perhaps playing a little bit in sort of in a 10 role with Hutchinson and Burstow off. But imagine that flexibility, and especially a player of Mari Hutchinson's talent gives you an option to change things mid-game if you need him to drop deeper or play a little bit wider. He's got that ability and certainly that personality that I imagine tonight he's certainly going to want to make his mark on the game. Yeah,
he'll be motivated, won't he? Obviously disappointed not to get out and get some games, some first-team games. The back end of the window looked like he was all set to move, but him and Harvey Vale going to be here for the entirety of this season. 2 high-caliber forward players, and hopefully they'll knuckle down and produce some really good performances and keep Chelsea being competitive in the league. Malik Mothersill, another talented front player, obviously on the bench tonight, and he's been paired with Burstow on a few occasions at this level, and they've looked like a really good pairing as well. So good options for Mark Robinson from the bench as well.
Mario Cozier-Dubry just stepping in there and forcing Harvey Vale to snap into the tackle a little bit. Is an opportunity for Arsenal. A little bit of space on the far side for Bandera. Into Smith-Rowe. Here is Cozier-Dubry. Back to Smith-Rowe. He was on the bench for Arsenal at the weekend. An unused substitute against Leicester City in the Premier League was Emile Smith-Rowe. So perhaps looking at tonight as an opportunity for him to build up minutes as he continues to return from injury. Here's Hideo. All the way back to Lionel Sosa. A lot of early possession for Arsenal, opening 4 minutes here at Kings Meadow. Here is Smith-Rowe again. Chelsea having to be patient. Arsenal likewise showing that patient approach. Here's Sosa. Just Step over from Adeo. Sosa again, comes up against. It's a lovely through ball. Here's Amari Hutchinson with a little bit of grass to run into. Mason Burstow, his only teammate. It's Lewis Hall over the far side. Again, that little burst though, Sam, that little bit of invention from Amari Hutchinson. That's kind of what you want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good ball into him. I felt it was possibly on just to slide it down the outside of the Arsenal right-sided centre-half. Mason Burstow had made the movement. Hutchinson opted to just keep hold of the ball and wait for teammates, and the opportunity was gone. But their excellent first pass into him, and Hutchinson looking bright when he took receipt of it. It looks like those two are just going to play slightly deeper, doesn't it? Hutchinson and Harvey Vale. Mason Burstow's going to be up top by himself, but he'll be well supported by two very high calibre players who've been attacking number 10 roles.
Chance for Dean Rankin to get involved. Ben Elliott, crunching tackle against Matt Smith. Now Smith Rowe trying to turn traffic the other way. Uses Kozio Dubry as he on the overlap. Stood up against. Swept away by Zach Sturge, taking absolutely no chances there is the Chelsea centre half. Smith to Sosa again. Just brushes off Harvey Vale there. Play from Matt Smith again. Here's Adeo. Overlapping run here. Opportunity and a first chance of seeing Charles Sego Jr. He's still running. Wants something given, ignored. It's going to fall on the edge to Bandera. Chance not over. Smith Rowe, and that is a very, very impressive save from Slonina.
It is. It's good pressure from Arsenal. How he kept that in, I don't know. That's close to a penalty. Taking a little bit of a risk there, Brooklyn, I think it was with the challenge, but you're right, Joe. Smith Rowe was very deliberate with that effort. Didn't even need to look. He knew exactly where the target was, just bent it towards the top right-hand corner. Slonina made that look very, very simple, and I don't think it was. That was a great attempt and a wonderful stop.
You mentioned that might be the biggest test for him today, someone of Premier League ready-made calibre in Emile Smith Rowe, and he certainly stood up to that test as early as we've seen it so far. A good 7 or 8 minutes for Arsenal, though, Sam, has to be said, out of the two teams to start with. They've started the brighter.
Yeah, they look connected, don't they, in all the units. They're moving it slickly across the surface. Chelsea's play has been a little bit more counter-attacking. Thankfully, been able to get through that little flurry of chances. Again, I thought it was a brilliant save. Smith Rowe, because of the purchase he was able to get on the strike, he was probably wheeling away, thinking he'd scored. So, well done, Slonina. First involvement. Great stop. And just thinking, good opportunity for Lewis Hall to show what he's about in the central of midfield. We know that's where he wants to play. We know that that's where he feels he's played his best football. He's obviously starred in a variety of positions when he's been handed the opportunity in the first team, but he feels this is his best role up against someone like Smith Rowe in there. Him and Ben Elliott are going to have to be on their game tonight, because a lot of that's going to have to be defensively minded and keeping an eye on the talented Arsenal number 10.
Especially with Charlie Webster out injured this evening, it's, like you said, a good opportunity for him to sort of stamp his mark on that central midfield position. And he plays teammate a lot of the time as the in-swinging corner. It's a deep one. Sturge is only able to put it back across goal. Here's Emile Smith Rowe. Matt Smith just stuns the ball out to the far side. It's a deep cross, maybe a foul in the back against Lewis Hall, but it's going to go out for a Chelsea goal kick anyway. Yes, it's a good test, isn't it? Because, like you said, it's an opportunity for Lewis Hall to sort of cement his position as first choice central midfielder for Chelsea in the development side this season, and It's had a little flurry in the first team, but I wonder as well, obviously you've been in this situation, Sam, if the first team perhaps aren't hitting the heights that, you know, that the club and the team would like at the moment, do you see that as an opportunity playing in the development side to say, I'll tell you what, if I play well, I know that things at the moment, you know, I might get the opportunity, I might get sort of a look in at the first team if things aren't going sort of especially to plan immediately.
Yeah, although we're, you know, in quite a pressurised situation right now, so the other side of it is the players are savvy enough to realise that you're maybe not going to get slung in when so much is on every game right now. But yeah, of course, young players have got a better chance of appearing when results aren't particularly positive. But yeah, Lewis Hall's done brilliant this year. I think his rise has probably happened, you know, quicker than maybe he anticipated. He's been involved in a hell of a lot of games early part of this season and done terrifically well. Hopefully he can get back involved at some stage.
Neat little interplay there from Arsenal down the right-hand side between Smith Rowe and Samari Kozia-Dubry again getting involved. But here's Chelsea's number 7, Dion Rankin. Opportunity now. He's got Hutchinson as the overlap. If he can decides to go that way, gets stuck in those feet a little bit, and Matt Smith can step across. Again, even that midfield, you know, that central midfield in Matt Smith, he's got league experience with Swindon and Charlton as well. A player that's, you know, going to test Lewis Hall and is going to, you know, sort of physically and mentally from him and Smith Rowe. He has got a big challenge to see, not just Lewis Hall, like I said, Ben Elliott as well.
Yeah, he'll be the fulcrum. You can see that already from an Arsenal perspective. Everything's going to go through him, and as you say, he's got good experience. You consider, seems to have been around forever, so already at a tender age of what, 21, 22. So yeah, he's going to be someone that will look to dictate the style that Arsenal and the tempo that Arsenal want to play at. So yeah, it's a good evening, I think, for Elliott and Lewis Hall to show what they're about.
Absolutely, he is. An opportunity for Arsenal to start building again. Lewis Hall in quick into the tackle towards Sago Jr. Switch of play to the far side, just beats Bandera, but doesn't beat Zach Sturge, who's stepping across there. Here's Sosa. Now Sturge can step forward. It's a lovely threaded ball towards Harvey Vale. It's a good step over, driving run from Vale. Tries to get to Burstow. Good first touch. Hutchinson, little cute ball. Lewis Hall's going to try and keep it in play. Unable to. You can see the link up in the interchange though, can't you? And those three, I mean, they're match winners at any level. But Burstow, Hutchinson and Vale, they'll be the difference tonight. Yeah, and there's a nice contrast between the two sides right now. Sturge did excellently stepping out there, and then it was all about the front three combining, which they did to really good effect. Harvey Vale's pass was slightly behind Mason Burstow, but he kept hold of it. Good front play, and I just think Hutchinson was just waiting for that little gap to appear so he could bend it towards the far side, left-footed. Unfortunately, it didn't appear. Had to play the overlapping Lewis Hall and just a little bit too much purchase on his pass. But encouragement, definitely, from that counter-attack in that all three front players involved, and to really good effect as well. Especially because it's certainly no secret that you don't want to give Amari Hutchinson half a yard to do his best work, but especially against this Arsenal team, who a lot of them will know exactly how devastating he can be.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they allow him to get on his left foot anywhere within 25 yards of their goal. They'll know exactly what he's capable of. He's shown enough in this fixture over time that he knows exactly where the back of the net is, and he can score from distance with quality. And yeah, they'll try and marshal him tightly this evening, I'm sure.
All the way back to Slonina. Sturge, can he keep it in play? He can't. It's going to be an opportunity here for a throw-in high up the pitch for Arsenal now. Here is Smith Rowe. It's a deep cross towards Sir Jan, but Slonina does well at the second attempt. Opening 15 minutes here at Kings Meadow, still goalless. Still waiting for our first real sighting a goal from either team as well. Slonina with a good save from Emil Smith Rowe is the best chance so far. Good save from the American goalkeeper as well. Other than that, as we expected to, the elite teams at this level, it's always going to be a competitive fixture between the two. And if you look at it, to be fair, the last few times they have, usually the game opens up a little bit more. And unfortunately for Chelsea, it hasn't really gone Chelsea's way recently. 4-1, 3-1 and 4-1 the last 3 meetings between the two teams. In fact, the last Chelsea were in October 2020 in a 3-0 win. Dion Rankin, the only remaining player from that evening in the Chelsea side tonight. Here's Elliott. Does really well. Could be a chance for Castillo to break down the left-hand side. He's got options with Burstow and Hutchinson.
A shame he just attacked with such pace and such vigour down the left-hand side that the front players actually hadn't made up the distance there. He put it in a fraction too early. Always hopeful more than anything that it was going to deflect into a Chelsea player's path.
Could be a chance. Lewis Hall has picked the ball up, driving into space now. Rankin teasing the opportunity, wins the corner off Sosa. First corner for Chelsea to assert themselves. An opportunity for Gilchrist and Sturge, and maybe Brooking to come up from the back as well. I'm sure we'll come on to it, but Alfie Gilchrist has stepped into the captain's armband in the absence of Bashir Humphreys, who's obviously gone on loan, and he's been heavily, very impressive all season long. And to be fair, he probably hasn't got the plaudits he has, because Bashir Humphreys has been as good as him beside him, but he's had a fantastic season so far as Alfie Gilchrist. He's up from the back along with his centre-half partner. It's an in-swinger from Amari Hutchinson towards the far post. A looping header. Let's go out for a goal kick. To Mason Burstow at the far post. Either Burstow or Sturge, I think the two are coming together.
Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it? I think they got in each other's way. Two players at the far post there, attacked it well. Maybe just put each other off. Good delivery, though. Really good delivery.
Chelsea continuing to press high. It's a lovely bit of play there between Smith Rowe and Crozier Dubry again. Those two linking up really well. There is Crozier Dubry. Patient approach from Arsenal, one that's served them very well over the years. Served them very well in the Premier League at the moment as well. Here's Emil Smith Rowe, hoping to play his part in the senior team towards the end of the season, no doubt. Lewis Hall. A lovely ball to Brooking, which fired into him from Mason Burstow. Starting to see both Brooking and Castillo venture forward a little bit more than we have done in the opening 15 minutes. So it's a bright spell for Chelsea so far. Still goalless here at Kingsmeadow, though. Here is Brooking. There's the foul there, Harvey Vale. Very honest as well, because he could quite easily have gone down and forced the referee's hand, but didn't need to in the end. Get another opportunity for Harvey Vale, though, Sam, to sort of assert himself as one of the leaders within this team. He was very unfortunate during his loan spell at Hull for injuries and able to get a good run in the first team, but Chelsea fans are only too aware of how good he can be.
Yeah, that definite, early test of his kind of mentality early on in his career. When you go out on loan like that and it doesn't play out how you would have hoped, finds himself back in the PL2, but he looks like a really good type. I always say, his characteristics at this level look like he's more than ready to make that transition into first-team football. Makes good decisions, and he's been a real good asset at this level for the side.
Deep cross from Hutchinson. The bounce nearly fell for Brooking. Ben Elliott does really well. Here is Vale. Intercepted though, and Roel Walters can calm things down for Arsenal. Goes a little bit longer, looking for Sago Jr. He's one-on-one with Gilchrist, but Gilchrist just deals with it calmly.
The Arsenal were very good, I thought, for about 10 minutes or so, but Chelsea seem to have weathered that now. Maybe it's just working out the opponent's setup. It's been really interesting. They've kind of been building up in a back three. Sousa on this left-hand side, tucking into midfield, a la their first team kind of set up, the way Zinchenko does it, but giving them maybe that numerical advantage in the midfield. But Chelsea have made it a much more even contest the last 10.
Sirjan driving forward, opportunity now for Ideo. Joel Ideo. Looking for an angle at the near post, but probably wasn't there for him to find. Slonina seemed to have that covered, in, even if it was on target.
Yeah, it's a poor decision because he gets into a really dangerous position, and they're well stocked in the 18-yard box. Teammates would be very disappointed that hasn't come square. Missed the near post by some distance.
Here's Rankin. There's a throwing off Sosa. No foul in there, and opportunity now for Emile Smith-Rowe. Just drags it wide. Good opportunity though for a player of his quality to not hit the target from there. He'll be disappointed.
He will be, and I think when the ball's travelling, he makes his mind up here. I think he's aware the way that he turns and spins. He's got a lovely little bit of space, and then it's probably a bit of a game of cat and mouse there, considering his previous effort went to the other side of Slonina, tried to reverse it, just didn't catch it brilliantly. But another warning side. He's got into the perfect position, really, in terms of the role he's playing for Arsenal to get strikes away, and be pleased to have had a couple of early sighters, if not scored as of yet.
Arsenal building again down that far side. Kozia Dubry, who's becoming more and more lively. Burstow does well though to track back, and now Chelsea maybe can turn traffic the other way with Amari Hutchinson. There's a tussle going on at the bottom of your screen between Burstow and Sosa. Burstow very nearly nips in there as well. That's that physicality that we've said time and time again. He gives you so many different options, Mason Burstow, though his link-up play is very good, but he does offer that option to go a little bit longer if you need to as well.
Yeah, he was very impressive in the last game here, actually, in defeat against West Ham. He got himself a goal, and I felt he led the line absolutely brilliantly. Looked hungry, as you say, his touch, his awareness is improving. It was as good as I'd seen from him. Hopefully he can replicate that this evening, although touches have been a little bit sparse to this point.
And from Lino Sosa. Alfie Gilchrist just shrugs off the charge from Sago Jr. Slonina just going to slow things down a little bit for Chelsea again. It's kind of happened in fits and starts, hasn't it? Really, Chelsea started probably on the damper end of things. Arsenal seemed to start very well. Then, like you said, Sam, traffic seemed to sway a little bit. Chelsea have had the better of things the last 10 minutes, and maybe Arsenal now trying to turn the tide a little bit more and starting to have a little bit more possession again and just keep hold of the ball. I suppose it's important in moments like that to a little bit of experience from the players that have played at senior level and know the game inside out already. Just slow things down a little bit, get your foot on the ball and sort of bide your time.
Yeah, you can see Arsenal controlled in possession. They want to try and play out. Chelsea have attempted to do so as well, but it's in transition and looking the more dangerous. That could have gone there towards Mason Burstow. He's opted to go wide.
Here's Castillo up against Smith-Rowe. Back to Ben Elliott. Trying not to force it. Here's Elliott again. Back to Gilchrist. Still goalless in all 4 PL2 games this evening. Lewis Hall. Just a stun one towards Castillo. Does really well to bring it down on his chest as Juan Castillo. Deep cross, unable to find anyone. Just couldn't quite fall for Hutchinson. Very nearly did, though. Very nearly able to bring it under control under his chest. But again, that's a nice little passage of play, isn't it?
Yeah, they didn't expect it, did they? Because it was almost too good. There wasn't enough bodies in the box. Lewis Hall with the change of play. Castillo's touch was immaculate, and then he put in the most wonderful ball. Hutchinson and Dion Rankin, one of them at least, has to get in there. It's not enough just having Mason Burstow occupying centre-halves. Needed extra bodies in the box. Deserved it, because the ball was wonderfully put in.
Sego Jr. can't quite keep it in play. Interesting as well to see how far Slonina is outside of his box, offering an option, and very much in the Kepper mould of being able to play with your ball at feet. So important to a modern goalkeeper, and looks every bit of a modern goalkeeper in terms of that ability on the ball, but shot-stopping ability that we've seen already this evening. He's only 25 minutes. He'll certainly be pleased with how he's done. He's answered all questions so far that have come his way, and any goalkeeper that keeps a clean sheet will be a happy boy at the end of it, won't he?
Well, he's made a great save, hasn't he? So if he wasn't confident already, he'll be pleased with that moment, definitely, because it looked like it was going to end up in the top corner. Made a brilliant save, so yeah, good start for him.
Vale just harried out of it there, and between Suryan and Matt Smith, but Ben Elliott can give it to Zach Sturge, and now an opportunity to get Juan Castillo on the ball again. It's a lovely ball down the channel. Here's Amari Hutchinson, Burstow, Vale and Rankin all in the box. Lewis Hall now. Now Rankin. Lovely ball from Vale back into Rankin. Almost didn't expect it, felt like, didn't it? Chance here now for Lewis Hall to change the angle. It's a nice idea though, Sam, isn't it?
It is, and they worked it out of such a tight spot brilliantly well. Nice and intricate, sharp, inventive movement. Just a shame that Lewis Hall and Harvey Vale slightly on the wrong page. Had the option to maybe deliver there as well, Lewis Hall. They were just arriving in the box, 2 or 3 blue shirts, but yeah, nice little phase of play, because Arsenal defensively are very quick to get back into their shape. You can hear the shout from the technical area. Nothing through us. Well, Chelsea very nearly did get through them there.
His chance now on the left-hand side, but Hideo is just shrugged off the ball from Josh Brooking. Nuno Sosa can pick the ball up though. It'll be a test, won't it, as well? You know, we've seen this game time and time again for Chelsea and PL2, teams that don't leave any opportunities, and that's why we see so many tight games in PL2, though. You do get moments of brilliance from players that are showing that they are ready for that next step. There's, you know, a number of options on the pitch this evening for both sides that can do that. Perhaps you will be required for a moment of Harvey Vale magic, for example. We've seen capable of it numerous amounts of times, but how will the manager be thinking so far, Sam, in terms of the first half hour or so, Mark Robinson?
I think relatively pleased. I think realistically would have known that Arsenal are going to be very competent with the ball, good technicians, but they haven't hurt Chelsea to this point. Emile Smith-Rowe's had a couple of attempts, yes, but Chelsea have looked dangerous going forward themselves, and I think it's understanding that your best chance of probably hurting the opposition is quick transitions, just allowing Arsenal onto them a little bit and then trying to spring through that formidable front three that Chelsea have got their ranks at this level. So yeah, I think to get through half an hour, just a couple of sighters for Arsenal, and Chelsea growing in confidence will leave the manager relatively pleased.
Deep free kick again, going to be swung in by Amari Hutchinson. Another one towards the far post. It looks like a free header for Gilchrist at the far, but flag is up for offside. Again, 2 good deliveries from similar positions from Amari Hutchinson towards that far post.
Yeah, just got a little bit over-eager to get in, Gilchrist, but yeah, lovely shape on the delivery. And maybe that's an avenue for Chelsea this evening as well.
Long ball forward to Charles Sago Jr., but Alfie Gilchrist does well. Wins a throw-in off the Arsenal player as well. Excuse me, no, it's gone the other way. As you can see, the Chelsea captain not too pleased with that either. Here's Lino Sosa. Take the throw in for Arsenal. Another one who's been seen a number of times this season training with the first team. I think similarly to Chelsea, there's very little between younger players that are coming through here, and the opportunity just presenting itself. You never know, especially European competitions. I know a couple of the Arsenal players that have been involved in Europa League squads, like Dion Rankin has been for Chelsea, Amari Hutchinson likewise, Harvey Vale last year, Lewis Hall earlier in the season as well. Certainly ready for that next step, a lot of these players. It's just when the opportunity presents itself, and I'm sure with, like you said, is sort of, I suppose, inverted wing-back role that Sosa's playing this evening. He's doing himself, showing himself a good showing if there does come that opportunity, Sam, whether Arsenal play as a first team and a development side.
Yeah, it's not always the case that you're going to mirror the playing style of the first team, but seems to definitely be what they're trying to do this evening, especially with those full-backs. Chelsea, interestingly, have been kind of building up in the back two, with Gilchrist stepping a little bit further forward, making an angle into midfield. So yeah, different setups when they're trying to play out, both opting to try and play through the thirds. But as I touched on right at the start of the game, I think when the players develop in Chelsea have that nice option just to play forward a little bit more direct to those forward players. Something that definitely has kind of changed mid-season, probably because of the talent and the profile of player that Mark Robertson has available to him at the top end of the pitch. And it's definitely meant that they've gone on a really, really good run. Since a difficult start to the season, it's been quite a turnaround.
Absolutely has, yeah, like you mentioned, that difficult start to the season was, again, in that game that we spoke about at the start between Chelsea and Arsenal that ended in 4-1, I think it was a little bit of a shell-shocked start with defeats to Fulham and Arsenal early on in the campaign, but since then it's been quite the turnaround and quite the run. In fact, it's only the West Ham defeat a couple of weeks ago that's put a dampener on that. Other than that, it's been pretty flawless for Chelsea in the last 3 or 4 months in PL2. Hopefully this evening, a big statement win against local rivals Arsenal, again very much puts emphasis on the title picture, and Manchester City and Chelsea competing at the top end of PL2 as it has been for the past 4 or 5 seasons. Either one or the other. Hopefully it will be a darker shade of blue ribbons that's on the PL2 trophy at the end of the campaign. Here's Mill Smith Rowe. Now a chance for Mason Burstow.
Look after the ball! Passes! Passes! Keep your focus out. From the front, Lou. Go on, Lou. Good boy, Lou.
Lewis Hall does well there. Steps across and helps his captain out and bounces the ball back to Gilchrist, who, again, Slonina just urging his fullback to move on a little bit more. There's so many good goalkeepers at Chelsea's academy sides as well, Sam, that I suppose you've got that consistency that you rarely get at academy levels. You know, you look on the bench this evening, you've got Luke Campbell, there's Ted Kerr, there's obviously Eddie Beach, who's gone out on loan now, Prince Alagoke as well. There's so many good goalkeepers that are coming through. So I suppose when you have got the opportunity like Slonina has today, and he comes in from Chicago Fire with a little bit more experience than the other lads have, but you have got to make sure that you're on top form because there's so much competition regardless of where you're playing. Yeah,
and because of that, people are always handed opportunities, so you've got to spread the minutes out as well. So important that you do the business when you get in.
It's a lovely ball, by the way, from Juan Castillo. Very nearly gets in, but Ben Elliott, a lovely raking pass over the top towards him, and just springing that trap a little bit. You've got the pace of Rankin one side, not forgetting Castillo on the other. Here's Brooking, back to Elliott. Another lovely pass from Elliott, now with Rankin. Chance to square it. Very nearly a tap in for Mason Burstow. Well defended last ditch though, but in the space of 20 seconds, 2 lovely Ben Elliott passes, and Chelsea have got in either side.
Lovely ball, and controlled expertly by Gianfranco, just the final little bit missing, and we've not seen him venture too far forward on too many occasions, so that tells you that Arsenal have done a pretty good job in the wide positions. Gianfranco getting forward where we like to see him, just unfortunate with his final delivery. But I think it's been a good recovery almost, because Arsenal started the brighter of the two sides. Actually, Chelsea have been able to force their opponents into playing quite long in this first half. To this point, Alfie Gilchrist has dealt pretty well with Sago Jr. when Arsenal have been forced into playing long. So that says that the front players are working hard, pressing the ball excellently. And here we go again, nearly overturning the ball in dangerous positions. So, yeah, definitely a much better 20 minutes or so.
Elliott involved again. Lovely pass into Vale, flick round the corner. Mari Hutchinson, good Chelsea build-up. Just gets unlucky with a bounce.
Yeah, he probably didn't feel there was enough pace on the ball to let him run and maybe get his strike away with his right foot. That was what I initially thought. Just read the bounce of the ball and get your strike away, but Arsenal defender was sharp.
The draw for the Women's FA Cup quarter-final has just been announced. Chelsea will travel to Reading in the FA Cup quarter-final. Emma Hayes' side on the hunt for another piece of silverware after beating Arsenal yesterday in the Women's FA Cup. Looking for a double, and could be an opportunity here for Harvey Vale. Squares it to Lewis Hall. Good opportunity there for the opener, Sam.
Yeah, and Arsenal playing themselves into difficulty. Harvey Vale with a really good decision with his pass. Lewis Hall possibly had a bit more time there. Took a swing at it, right-footed. Could he have just shifted it to his stronger left side and then picked one of the corners? Invariably got a little bit more pace on his strike, I'm sure, with his strong side. But yeah, certainly tested Reshaped down to his right.
Probably the best chance of the game. Falling to Lewis Hall there. Foul against Alfie Gilchrist here. An opportunity for Arsenal to feature themselves, but this is the chance a minute ago, and all of Arsenal's sort of own making, really. Very lapsing, trying to play out from the back. Can't see that because it's about to be delivered in from Emile Smith-Rowe. Just going back to that Chelsea and Arsenal game in the Women's FA Cup yesterday, we'll see highlights for that half-time, so make sure you stick around for that. And then very busy, congested period for Emma Hayes' side. Still firing on all fronts. Big Champions League clash at Stamford Bridge, not too far away either. Here's Kozia Dubry, that's going to outswing up. Well gathered in the end by Slonina. Walters trying to prevent him from playing it quickly, but Slonina just says going to slow things down a little bit and bowls it out to Ben Elliott. Hutchinson again looking to stab it towards Vale and Burstow, but neither able to get on the end of that.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst pass there. Played firmly into an area of the pitch where you'd expect one of your front players to be showing. So just a little bit sharper.
All 4 games, including this one in PL2 this evening, goalless so far. Here's Zach Sturge trying to change things for Chelsea. A long raking ball towards Hutchinson, who could be in here. Header onwards, straight into the gloves of Gradchik. Chelsea's top goal scorer in PL2 so far this season, Amari Hutchinson. Good return from him as well so far in his first season at Chelsea. 16 games in PL2. 7 goals, 7 assists. tremendous output, which is why he was rewarded with those first-team appearances. And Graham Potter's side, start of the year, obviously knows only too well about this Arsenal team. They already bettered his best Arsenal PL2 campaign, though. He scored 6 in his most prolific Arsenal PL2 campaign. Reshaped to get us back underway. Long towards the head of Alfie Gilchrist, thankfully. A tackle from Harvey Vale. Castillo. Vale again. Loses out on that occasion, but clearance only as far as Lewis Hall. Now here's Ben Elliott. Ball wide to deep cross towards the far post. Again, it's a good delivery again though, Sam, and I'm sure Mason Burstow will be applauding that off camera at the moment.
Yeah, it's really good again. Castillo's put in some nice deliveries from the left-hand side. Harvey Vale, on that occasion, just unfortunately didn't get the run of the ball at the far post. Dion Rankin was in there.
Here is Dion Rankin. Strike with the left foot. Used Brooking as an overlapping dummy to shift a little bit of space onto his left foot, but strike comfortably into the goalkeeper's gloves, and now Arsenal can transition at the other end. 4-on-4, well defended by Lewis Hall. Now we can go the other way. Starting to open up a little bit more, Sam, like we anticipated it might do.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Just needed to be a little bit bigger from Lewis Hall. You can see what he was trying to execute. Hutchinson had just ran into the channel, just needed it to be lofted in beyond Arsenal's back line. Just about able to cut it out.
3.5 minutes until the half-time whistle, and it's opened up for Bandera. It's a really important save from Slonina. He probably unsighted, come through a body of Chelsea players, but gets down low to tip it round the corner for a corner ball to Arsenal. It's a really important save, actually. I think we'll see on the angle, Sam, but I don't think he gets much sight on this.
No, it's a really good save. It looked like it was creeping in. Chelsea very slow to get out there. They're in their shape, nice and compact, but then nobody got out to the ball. Have to get out there and try and close that angle down. Bandera couldn't believe his luck.
Ball back out to Arsenal on the edge now. Here's Kozia Dubry. Smith's going to try and whip it in. Good block on the far side though, and Chelsea still camped in their own 18-yard box as Rankin goes to apply a little bit of pressure with Elliott and Hutchinson. Three minutes or so to play here at Kingsmeadow, still goalless between Chelsea and Arsenal here in the PL2. It's like that elsewhere though, in Nottingham Forest, West Brom also goalless, Spurs, Palace and West Ham. Brighton all still waiting for the first goal of the evening in PL2. Brooking with the throw-in. Referee thinks he's taken a few extra yards there. Tackle from Burstow. Lovely feet from Lewis Hall. Skips the ball out to Castillo. Burstow trying to get into the middle of the box, and it's towards him. Nearly fell for Mason Burstow on the second attempt as well. Get another early crossing from Castillo though, and come back to that in a second, because here's Amari Hutchinson. Bandera with a tackle, fairly according to the referee. Hits the corner flag and stays in play. Sturge. Very half-hearted appeals for a penalty there from Harvey Vale. Coming into the final 60 seconds of play here in the first half at Kingsmeadow. Here's Emile Smith-Rowe. Crozier Dubry on that far side, teasing Castillo, but Gilchrist does really well to fire it away at the front post. You can hear the Arsenal bench very vocal in the fact they want to try and get on with things quickly and maintain that intensity that they've played with in the first half, although not going to be able to do it without a tied lace for Lino Sosa. Play from Ben Elliott, now Sturge. 2 additional minutes added on. That's a Ben Elliott. Another raking pass, looking for Dion Rankin. It finds his teammate quickly onto Hutchinson. John Nadeo wins the battle there. Gives it to Lewis Hall. It's on his left foot, Lewis Hall. Elliott. It's a lovely disguised pass. I think it caught Harvey Vale out a little bit over there.
Yeah, possibly meant for Lewis Hall there. Just got a little bit too much pace on the pass. Harvey Vale was alive to the situation, but just couldn't make up the distance. I think they've closed aggressively, pressed really well in the second half of this first period. Arsenal have looked a little bit shell-shocked, especially when they've been trying to play out, so it took a little bit of time for Chelsea to get to grips with the Arsenal setup, but since they have done, it's been a much more even game.
Towering header from Alfie Gilchrist again. Final 30 seconds of the first half here at Kingsmeadow. Here's Bandera. Mixed messages between him and Crozier Dubry, and it rolls out for a goal kick. I think we'll be at the half as soon as Slonina gets this one back in play, Sam. So what's your assessment of the first half, mate? Looks like it will finish goalless, and I suppose in that, pieces and patches that both coaches will be pleased with, and bits to work on as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a fast start from Arsenal. They controlled things 10-15 minutes, but Chelsea have come back into the game really well. Then it's been pretty even fair. Not too much on either goal. Smith-Rowe probably with the best chances from an Arsenal perspective. Quite a few balls flashed in for Chelsea, and Lewis Hall disappointed, I would say, to miss their best opportunity of the half that they've been able to create. So yeah, lots to like, and probably right that they go in at 0-0.
Does feel like that, doesn't it? Both teams feeling their way into this one. We knew it was going to be tense. They usually test each other on different levels. So far, though, here at Kingsmeadow this evening, it is goalless between Chelsea and Arsenal in PL2. Let's have a little look at the best parts from the first half then. And like you said, a first half of few real, genuine chances on goal, but when called upon, Gaga Slonina has stood up to every question asked of him so far.
Yeah, this was a flurry of early chances for Arsenal, wasn't it, in the same phase. Half-hearted penalty appeals there, then this is a really good strike. Gets blocked at source, and then that's a really good attempt. He gets plenty of pace on that. The direction's good as well. I would suggest that the starting position of Slonina is very, very good, because he makes that look like a very comfortable save, and it's not. It was an excellent effort from Smith-Rowe, and yeah, Slonina deserves, you know, big credit for excellent early save.
Absolutely. Chelsea also likewise going the other way and starting to test from one or two areas, unable to get this one on sort of on target, but both players up there hungry to win the header at the far post, and probably, if one calls the other, might have had Chelsea's first registered chance on target. In terms of Arsenal, though, direction going the other way, it's been quite positive from an Arsenal perspective, and from a Chelsea perspective defensively. Again, they've not really given Arsenal any opportunity to show at goal, and every time they have, like we said, Slonina has been very equal to it. 2 chances here, though. The second one from Smith Rowe, Sam, probably the best opening of the game, you'd say, for Arsenal.
Yeah, Chelsea were in command of that situation. They're not here. You can see the space that Smith Rowe finds himself in. Good awareness to get turned, open up the target and get his strike away. And as I touched on in the commentary, Slonina's be aware that he's gone the opposite side previously, look to reverse it. I think Slonina's happy to see that set wide. He's probably not going to get there.
Absolutely. Arsenal notorious for wanting to play the ball out from the back in all age groups, and very nearly gave Lewis Hall a golden opportunity to open the scoring.
Yeah, it's actually the pace of that pass from Harvey Bell probably makes the mind up for Lewis Hall to strike first time. If he had a bit more on it, maybe the touch and then the left-footed finish would have been on, but can understand why he took it first time.
Probably was the best chance of the first half. Dion Rankin here stinging the gloves of the goalkeeper as well, but other than that, from a Chelsea perspective, these are the 2 biggest tests for the goalkeeper, and Slonina has been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers. I mean, I wouldn't quite call either busy in terms of the game so far, but here's another one, opportunity for him to show what he's capable of.
Yeah, it's a really good save down to his left. It probably would have crept in. Chelsea were just so slow to get out there. Ben Elliott does that eventually, but I'm sure that would have disappointed Mark Robertson, the nature of that chance.
It's going to be one of those games potentially this evening where patience is needed. What will the manager be saying at half-time, Sam? Will he be pleased with what he's seen from his team in the first half, or will he perhaps want a little bit more?
I think pleased in the way that they've disrupted Arsenal, got after them when they've been trying to play out. That's clearly an avenue for Chelsea. If they can nick the ball early and play in transition, that's when they've looked dangerous. I think take a little bit more care, the front players, probably, when they have been in possession. But defensively, I think there's that half war on. Loads to like about that Chelsea performance, winning the individual duels. They've kept the front players quiet. Obviously have to be aware of Smith Rowe's position, but yeah, I think just a little bit more care. Maybe when the ball's in wide positions, a few more bodies in the box, a little bit more belief that you're going to get on the end of something, and yeah, a little bit more energy maybe in their movement in the final third when Burstow's been getting in the box. Maybe just a little bit content making up the distance and getting in the 18-yard box, rather than really believing, being dynamic within his movement, that he's going to get a chance.
Big second 45 coming up at Kingsmeadow for you very, very shortly. But first, Chelsea and Arsenal done battle for the second time this weekend tonight. The first one went certainly in Chelsea's favour. Here are the highlights from yesterday in the Women's FA Cup.
It's a great ball, that, from Catley. Frida Marnham's onside here. Tight angle, decent effort. Strong hand from Berger. First nearly moment of this game. What a pass that is. Eriksson and Marnham onside. That was on target. Still going long again. It might work out for Blackstenius here. Great chance, and she's blown it. Did all the good work to out-muscle Magda Eriksson and couldn't make the most of it. Penalty just beaten to her by Jankovic and Lauren James. Went on a run like this the other day and scored. She's found Ingle here. Who's found the goal? First blood, Chelsea. Sophie Ingle. First domestic goal for a couple of years, and it's a big one. This is becoming the Lauren James trademark, this drifting in off the right like that. In off the post, unsavable. Yeah, super risky. And Kerr has cut it out. Here's the chance for 2. Big chance. And Jankovic has missed it. Big stop this from Zinsberger. Big relief for Arsenal. 2-0 before half-time. They're being big bother. Blackstenius, that's a good take. It's a foul by Charles, but kept on going there. Caitlin Ford and Marnham It's a great move, this. Katie McCabe, and the follow-up is headed clear by Eriksson. And Caitlin Ford was in there again. Bit of a charmed life here, but that's brilliant from Berger, isn't it? Strong from James, really strong. Jankovic sliding it through. No flag here. Sam Kerr, 2-0. Deadly finish in a game of big missed chances. And that is the comfort zone the Blues craved. It's Sam Kerr against Arsenal again. Catley. Forward was strong. Too strong for Perisane, still going. Might go all the way. How's that stayed out? Ricochet off Eriksson and Berger. Well, it's been a cracking game this, and Arsenal will be wondering how they've not scored. And here's another example of that. That could have gone anywhere.
Huge result in the FA Women's Cup for Chelsea. They've drawn Reading in the next round, and obviously Chelsea and Arsenal will continue to do battle on a number of fronts, not just WSL, though it looks like it's Chelsea and Manchester City to battle out for that, but also Sam Harkin in the final of the Conti Cup, which is this Sunday. A huge opportunity for the first piece of silverware of the season. How much is that a habit? I mean, we know Emma Hayes has said that countless times over the years about, you know, this Chelsea team are going to go the distance in so many, but that belief of getting the first piece of silverware under your belt for the season, you can put that to one side and then focus on the rest. How important is it to just focus on this Sunday then in Chelsea-Arsenal?
Well, I think Emma Hayes commended the attitude of the players after yesterday's victory, called them winners, elite athletes. You know, a lot of the team stepping off planes and have been playing internationally, and then to turn up and put in that performance against one of their rivals, yeah, you have to be incredibly impressed with that. And another game against Arsenal, the two teams, I think it's the third meeting of the side this year already, so they know each other well. Sam Kerr's obviously scored in both of those games and just in brilliant form right now. I think 10 goals in the last 5 games. There's obviously a 4 in there and a hat-trick as well. So she is scintillating at the top end of the pitch, and ultimately those tight games, cup finals, are defined. How many times do we see Didier Drogba do it for the men's side? Got a feeling that Sam Kerr could be the difference maker again at the weekend at Crystal Palace. She's in magnificent form, made that look so easy yesterday. Nice to see Sophie Ingle getting a rare goal as well, but yeah, they're in brilliant form. 5 straight wins since that draw at Emirates, wasn't it? And can't see them letting up, really. Great options, opportunities to rotate, I'm sure, for Emma Hayes with the Champions League just around the corner as well. So yeah, excited to see what the weekend brings.
Let me pick your brain about Sam Kerr, because obviously you've been a centre forward yourself. You'll have been in patches where you just feel everything you touch happens, and you're gonna score from it and stuff like that. Do you see the best of Sam Kerr when she's in that sort of form, or we've not seen it yet, but will you see the best from her when perhaps she hasn't scored in 2 games or something like that? Again, it doesn't feel like that's ever going to happen for Sam Kerr, but is that the real test of a player? Because you mentioned Didier Drogba. Sam Kerr's record in scoring goals in cup finals for Chelsea is ridiculous. I think she's got 6 in 8 or something, like very, very impressive like that. Her 100th Chelsea appearance, she's got 70+ goals for Chelsea already. It does feel like she's had everything go away so far. We know how good she is, but is the real test perhaps when the chips are down a little bit? Are we going to find out the best of Sam Kerr then? Which is crazy to think that we've not seen the best of her yet. No,
I mean, it's an incredible record she's got, goal-scoring record, and you know, I think back to her infancy at the club, the very, very early days. I think I covered a few of her first appearances, and she missed a number of chances in quite a few consecutive games. And you're thinking at that stage, you know, is she going to be that difference maker? Is she going to be able to cut it, you know, believe it or not, in the WSL and in the Champions League and progress Chelsea in that competition, which they obviously want badly? And she's answered all those questions emphatically. What I like most about her is she doesn't have scintillating pace, but it's the intelligence where she positions herself. Yesterday's a prime example, in between centre-halves, and she's always looking to run to goal as well. So often when you're commentating on her games or you're watching her live, you just see the number on the back, because she does not really interested in coming to feet. She can do the link-up stuff, but it's all about getting in one-on-one with the goalkeeper, relentless in her pursuit of goals, all types of goals, very good aerially, obviously a taker of the simple chances, but she scores the great goals as well, and I think that's what makes her, you know, such an elite striker in the game right now. So Chelsea are very lucky to have her. It doesn't look like it's going to subside at any stage soon. She's in an unbelievable vein of form, so if you can get the platform and the structure of the team right behind her, she's going to get a chance and she'll take it.
11 and 6 in 2023. She was in Australia fairly recently this week. I think I saw someone say that if this is Sam Kerr jet lagged, then my word, can you imagine? I mean, again, we are talking about genuinely. I know we're biased because we're seeing it through blue-tinted Chelsea spectacles, but you know, you're looking at the moment. There's the FIFA Best Award is going to be handed out this evening. It's going to be either Alexia Putellas, Beth Mead, or Alex Morgan. Again, Beth Mead has had a fantastic year. Huge miss for Arsenal. You know, obviously Miedemar's out for Arsenal as well. I think one of the most impressive things that I think from Sam Kerr is how regular she's available. You know, for a goal scorer to be fit and available so consistently as she is, then to be scoring the amount of goals she is. It is remarkable. We are seeing, again, an all-time great for 81 goals in 100 matches for Chelsea. Yeah,
it's a great characteristic, isn't it? Staying fit, looking after yourself. But we're very lucky at the moment. I mean, she's, I'm sure, the first to point towards the supply line. I'm a massive fan of Guro Reiten on the left-hand side, and Lauren James is not only producing in Chelsea colours now, but doing it on the international stage. We probably all felt it was only a matter of time. She's getting enormous plaudits right now, and playing some scintillating stuff. So, yeah, Sam Kerr, I'm sure, is very, very single-minded in their pursuit of goals, but will be humble enough to recognise that she's got some top players around her as well. So great to see Lauren James fulfilling that potential we all knew she had last season, but she was only showing it sporadically. So she's in a brilliant place right now as well, and yeah, hopefully it continues at the weekend. And yeah, you keep a clean sheet, you know that one of those two or three are going to create something and take one of the chances.
Absolutely right, and yeah, like you said there, I think one or two eyebrows raised from outside the football club about not replacing Beth England when she went to Spurs in January, and perhaps thinking, you know, where are the goals going to come from if you do, you know, heaven forbid, get an injury to Sam Kerr, or like you said, Lauren James has been unplayable at times this season. Guro Reiten is on the cusp of breaking a WSL record for the amount of assists in a season, which is held by Miedemar at the moment. I think he's only one away, in fact, or she's level with Beth Mead's best season for assists as well. You know, then look across at Fran Kirby, who we're not talking about a huge amount, one of the most gifted and talented footballers of a generation. You know, Johanna Rittinkane-Ruud as well, coming off the bench as a new player. So many options for Chelsea in that brilliant squad that Emma Hayes has built, and yeah, we very much hope that at Selhurst Park on Sunday, of course, it's going to happen. Chelsea against Arsenal. Make sure you keep across it, of course, on all Chelsea social media channels. If you can get down there, get down there. I think there are a few tickets still available, not many though, so you might have to be quite quick. And I mean, what a spectacle that will be. Chelsea have had a fantastic run in Conti Cup football over the last few years, and in every cup competition under Emma Hayes, to be fair, we've been very spoilt with the success that Emma Hayes has brought to this football club, and we know greater than anyone how much it means for Emma Hayes to be on the winning end of a fixture against Arsenal, and we hope that we'll have one of those here this evening as well, as the players re-emerge for the second half here at Kingsmeadow. Chelsea just being made to wait a little bit by their North London counterparts. Elsewhere in PL2 this evening, by the way, only one goal, and unfortunately Tottenham Hotspur have got it. They're one up against Crystal Palace as it stands. Doesn't do a huge amount to Chelsea in terms of positioning in PL2, really. You're looking above, not behind, so it's only Manchester City we have to worry about, and they played on Saturday and beat Everton by 5. So first change of the evening for Arsenal, and it's Jakub Kivior who's going to be replaced by Ethan Waneri, who, again, we highlighted at the start of the game, but is a very, very special talent. Has made his Premier League debut already. At 15, he made his Premier League debut in that game against Brentford at the Community Stadium, a long way back towards the start of the season for Mikel Arteta. But hugely talented player who will look to make his mark on this second half as Chelsea gets back underway. Straight out for an Arsenal goal kick, unfortunately, though. Might mean a slight reshuffle for Arsenal, which we'll have to keep an eye on. Fired into his own head there as well. Here's Arsenal to build from the back in this second half. Smith. It's been 2 Arsenal changes, which are just going to get confirmed for you. Emile Smith-Rowe is not taken to the pitch for the second half. A tussle going on there, and it's here's Bandera.
Work earlier, John, work earlier!
Chance here for Vale. Now Burstow. It's Bradley Ibrahim who's come on for Jakub Kivior, and as we flagged earlier, Ethan Neri who's come on for Emile Smith-Rowe. Bradley Ibrahim is going to do a straight swap at centre half for Kivior, and then another straight swap in a more advanced position for Nwaneri for Smith-Rowe. New challenge for Chelsea in the second half then, Sam, with Emile Smith-Rowe off the pitch and Nwaneri to change that.
Yeah, he was definitely Arsenal's main threat in the first half, wasn't he? Had their 2 best chances. Smith-Rowe didn't have loads of ball other than those 2 opportunities, but I'm sure he was only earmarked for 45 minutes, a little fitness exercise for him tonight. He'll probably be back involved with the first team, I'm sure, for their next game, considering he was on the bench at the weekend. Really talented boy. But yeah, Chelsea started this second half well. They need to do a little bit better when they win the ball.
Good chance here for Harvey Vale, very nearly nicking him behind. Lovely first touch to just skip the ball around the wrong side of Bandera.
Yeah, for the 5 or 6 opportunities they've had when they've nicked the ball high up, Chelsea, they probably didn't make the most of it in the first half, and that was slightly better a few moments ago. Won the ball high, moved it quickly, sharply. Concise ideas, I think, in the players' minds.
A chance here for Mason Burstow. Mix up in the Arsenal back line. Quite over yet as Elliott's trying to keep things alive for Chelsea. It does really well to wriggle out of that. Castillo's intercepted, though. Those little half chances, though, might be the difference tonight, Sam, mightn't they? When there's not a huge amount coming, you need one of those chances to perhaps pin a little bit more.
Yeah, Chelsea again looking at their most dangerous when Arsenal have almost got the ball on the edge of their own 18-yard box. They are content, completely content at trying to play their way out of trouble. And Chelsea, I would say, half a dozen occasions have had the ball almost presented to them. Yes, combined with good pressing and been able to make chances, half chances. Obviously, the best chance in the first half came from the ball just being given to Harvey Vale. He in turn found Lewis Hall, and that's where they need to be completely at it, Chelsea. Don't pass up those opportunities. Make your mind up, move the ball crisply and get your strike away.
Here's the other half-time substitute, Bradley Ibrahim for Arsenal. Oh, nasty coming together there by Elliott, completely accidental, but Chelsea are playing on. Looks like Elliott's in a bit of pain though. Completely accidental. It looked like Adeo tries to hurdle a challenge and just clashes into the midriff of Ben Elliott.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of the way, isn't he? Unfortunately for Ben Elliott, he's not been able to in time. It's a big collision.
Yeah, completely accidental from Joel Adeo, but it's not going to make it sting any less for Ben Elliott, who's now receiving treatment. 5 minutes gone, the second half still goalless here at Kingsmeadow. Also goalless in Nottingham Forest and West Brom. In PL2 there's been an equaliser for Crystal Palace against Spurs, and West Ham have just broken the deadlock at home to Brighton. So 2-0-0s so far this evening in PL2. We are witnessing one here at the moment, but as we've seen, two teams with many players that can make the difference in the blink of an eye. So make sure you stick with this for this one, because Chelsea games in recent weeks have gone the distance and had a lively finish. Think of that West Ham game where it could have been 0-0 for so long and then could have ended up 4-4 towards the end of it. If there does need to be a change here, there are options on the bench for Chelsea. Leo Castledine, probably the one that you immediately look at in terms of a central midfield player, but Malik Mothersill could come on. Silko Thomas as a wide player, Brody Hughes as a more defensive option if you wanted to reshuffle a little bit if Ben Elliott's unable to carry on. I hope he is, because he's played well this evening, Sam. He's been probably Chelsea's primary creator with his long passing.
Yeah, he played some nice balls in the first half. Good range to his passing as well. Switched the play intelligently, whether that was over to Rankin or Castillo on the left-hand side, and yeah, tough proposition as well, facing an established first-team player in Emil Smith-Rowe in the first half. So they did pretty well counteracting his threat. And Chelsea have started this second half well, actually. Arsenal haven't got into their stride as an attacking force at all. Plenty of possession, but in areas where they're not hurting Chelsea at all. If anything, playing a little bit of a dangerous game, and Chelsea have cottoned on to that, been aggressive without the ball. Front players have won it back high on a few occasions, and hopefully that will transmit into chances in the second half.
Thankfully, Elliott back on the field and in possession of the football now. Into the feet of Amari Hutchinson. Smith. Well defended there by Roel Walters. Ibrahim smashes it against Rankin for an Arsenal throw-in. Still one or two taking their seats back from half-time refreshments. Unfortunately, haven't missed anything so far in the second half. Suryan's giving the ball straight out of play for a Chelsea throw-in in more advanced position. Burstow. Rankin. Still Chelsea's only ever present PL2 so far this season, Dion Rankin. Gilchrist looking a little bit longer for Burstow, but unable to find his teammate on that occasion. Here's Zach Sturge. Here's Smith for Arsenal.
Let's go, come on, up, get through. Yes, Charles, when you're ready. Good, Ethan, narrow first. Stay, Charles, stay. Yes, Charles, yes, Charles. Get out. Good, yes, Charles, over. Yes, in. Us.
Long ball forward, looking for Burstow. Just touching on Ethan Waneri, Sam, he doesn't turn 16 until a month, well, 3.5 weeks away. Already made his Premier League debut. Already made a number of appearances in PL2. Obviously has a huge future ahead of him, and obviously you don't make your Premier League debut at 15 if you don't have a huge amount of potential and a huge amount of talent. How do you sort of level that out? We've seen it from a Chelsea perspective, but as a 15-year-old playing in PL2, how do you sort of maintain that or protect him a little bit?
I think the clubs are very good at that now. I think there's people in roles, positions at all the top clubs, the top academies, to make sure that the players are looked after. So it'd just be a case of him maintaining a high level of performance in the under-18s and the under-21s, given the opportunities. There's a long way to go. There's a long way to go for him. You don't fully develop probably until you're full-time, 17, 18, training every day. Still a lot of hard work ahead of him, and there's no guarantee that he will become a first-team regular. He's obviously got enormous potential, but I think of players that I played with at 14, 15 who you felt were going to be dead certs. And it kind of levels out when you get a little bit older.
Be a chance here for Harvey Vale, potentially. It was a lovely slide ball in from Ben Elliott. Couldn't quite find his Chelsea teammate. I suppose evenings like tonight will be a real test of you at this level as well, won't they? Because, you know, you've got seasoned players at this level within the Chelsea squad, and again, one of the best academies, one of the best teams at this level in Chelsea. If you can put in a good performance today, it's probably a better mark of where you are as opposed to, you know, 3 or 4 minutes in the Premier League, as it were. Yeah,
there's plenty of examples of players that have stepped up from the under-18s and not had the same impact. There's definitely a jump in quality. A lot of teams, clubs in the country use this level of football to play lads that are a little bit older. Chelsea are a little bit of a rarity in that a lot of these players will be old, first-year scholars, second-year scholars, 17, 18-year-olds. That's how Chelsea do it. Everton, for example, have always had a much older average squad for this level. So, yeah, it presents different challenges. I'm sure it's a tougher proposition for a 15-year-old playing in the PL2 than it would be on a Saturday morning in the under-18s. It brings its own pressure. So that's where it's important having good people around him at the club. I'm sure he does at Arsenal. And yeah, maybe it's you know, a good challenge for them, really.
He's a player that knows that path only too well from an Arsenal perspective. And Mari Hutchinson joined Chelsea in the summer from tonight's opposition. Chelsea still to make any changes to the team that started this evening. Front three of Hutchinson, Burstow and Vale. Here's Castillo. Teasing cross in towards Mason Burstow. He can't bring it under control, but Lewis Hall's not going to give it up. Here is Lewis Hall, has Rankin for support. It's crowded out of it by Lino Sosa.
Share the ball, lads. Share it quicker. Take the ball.
Could be a chance here. Here's Harvey Vale. Vale. Maybe another chance, another shooting opportunity for Harvey Vale.
Yeah, well, if they keep giving Chelsea opportunities by trying to play out in their own defensive third, feels like there's a certain degree of inevitability about the outcome. Harvey Vale with 2 sighters, just couldn't find either corner with that one. He's well closed down, in fairness. 2 or 3 Arsenal bodies to go through, but Chelsea are winning the ball back in dangerous areas countless times since the start of this second half. Chelsea on top now. Arsenal have lost their way with the football. Maybe just that sheer presence of Smith Rowe having lost him. Just lost a little bit of control. Here they come, though.
Here's Mauro. Diero's long surging run forward. Smothered by Chelsea, and now Brooking can get Chelsea going the other way. He's got Vale across the left-hand side if he can find him. Head The flick on actually is only going to go as far as Mason Burstow. Back to Castillo. Wins a corner. Like you said, Sam, it's starting to present itself more as a Chelsea dominance, which you hope that these sustained pressure and slight sightings of goal will present themselves into a bigger opportunity, and maybe this one from a corner.
Yeah, the game's definitely flipped. Arsenal camped in Chelsea's half, certainly for the first 10-15 minutes of the first half, and it's role reversal now. Chelsea pressing at Arsenal, unable really to work it into their attack in third.
Corner deceives everyone, though. It's a very long one, straight out the other side for a throw-in. Disappointing from a Chelsea perspective. An hour played here at Kingsmeadow. Slonina, Brooking, Gilchrist, Sturge, Castillo, Elliott, Rankin, Hall, Burstow, Vale and Hutchinson for Chelsea. Bracic, Bandera, Sosa, Walters, Smith, Cozier, Dubry, Suryan, Sago and Idaho started the game for Arsenal. Two substitutes at half-time for them in Jakob Kivior and Emil Smith-Rowe, replaced by Bradley Ibrahim and Ethan Waneri. No one yet to really pose a real golden opportunity, actually. We're still waiting for the first real clear-cut chance of the second half. A couple of sightings at goal in the first half for Emil Smith-Rowe, and Chelsea's best chance falling to Lewis Hall. Gaga Slonina in the Chelsea goal has kept fairly busy in the first half and stood up to every test asked of him. There are Arsenal trying to build something with Sago Jr. Bandera out to Cozier Dubry now. Waneri. Harvey Vale now. And Amari Hutchinson. Only Burstow and now Vale joining him for support. Chops inside. Amari Hutchinson. Into Burstow, back to Hutchinson. Just too many bodies in his way in the end, Sam.
He had to go quickly to the right-hand side. I think it was Lewis Hall who made his way to the edge of the 18-yard box. As soon as he turned infield, his touch took him towards the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. They just converged on Amari Hutchinson. There was nowhere for him to go. Unfortunate, because the ball was slipped into his path nicely by Mason Burstow. Do get back into their shape well, just when you think they're looking disjointed, Arsenal.
Here's Rankin. Uses Lewis Hall as an overlap. Back to Rankin on the byline. Does really well, does Dion Rankin. Vale back to Ben Elliott. Rankin again. Brooking with a deep cross. And eventually Arsenal can lash it clear, but only as far as Elliott. Lovely step from Ben Elliott. He's wriggled through. Little clip ball as well, but can't find a Chelsea player. Brooking comes thundering in. Again, just won't quite fall for Chelsea, really, Sam.
That excellent spell, really good flurry of chances there. I think Castillo could maybe be a little bit braver on the far post in terms of his movement. Doesn't anticipate not only one ball, but then a second. That's put him really well. Dug out crosses from the byline. Just want to see him be a little bit more forthright, getting across players, and then Chelsea surely would have had the opening goal. Excellent spell, though, and Arsenal rocking somewhat for probably the first time this evening.
Definitely a sustained 10-15 minutes of pressure from Chelsea. Still goalless here at Kingsmeadow. It's West Ham are 2 up against Brighton in PL2 tonight. Also Spurs and Crystal Palace currently locked at a goal apiece. Forest and West Brom still goalless. It's a half Midlands derby. Forest West Brom, probably not the first one you look at, and probably stretching a little bit to call it a derby, but
yeah, this is good play from Walters, in command of the situation. Burstow Really good energy, trying to do the right thing, but just a little bit over-eager. And they have defended the box well, actually, when balls have been put in there. Two centre-halves, Walters in particular, has got some real meaningful touches on dangerous Chelsea balls.
It's a lovely pass from Kozia Dubry. Arsenal players in the box. It's a dangerous strike as well in the end from Hideo. Just cuts across it. Can't quite keep it on target though, and I think if he had, Slonina seemed fairly comfortable with his positioning. Always knew it was going high and wide.
Yeah, first shot in anger really from Arsenal in this second period. Not the worst you'll see. Slonina very composed, confident that was going to miss the target by some distance, and he's, I suppose, been a spectator in this second half and shows the supremacy that Chelsea have wrestled back from Arsenal since the break. It's been a bit of a contrast between the two halves, sorry.
Could be a half chance here as Mason Burstow just drifting in on the blind side of Walters, but goalkeeper and centre-half between them can deal with it. Elliott does well to show his presence. Really well kept in though from Kozia Dubry. Waneri, Suryan. Back to Waneri. Sosa. Oh, Hideo again. Sosa again. Defended by Brookin. Hideo shows good feet.
Yeah, good effort. It's come a lot closer with that almost complete replica of what came a few moments ago. He's a little bit tighter in here. That's poor from a Chelsea perspective. Hudson has to react quicker. Too easy here again to dance away from Lewis Hall. 4, 5 Chelsea players around him. Should have stopped that shot from coming. Just a little bit sharper to that initial ball. Hutchinson on his heels.
Slonina's goal kick. Gilchrist with the flick on. It's just short of 70 minutes played here at Kings Meadow. Still goalless between Chelsea and Arsenal. Best chances in the first half. According to Emile Smith-Rowe, started for Arsenal. And Lewis Hall from a Chelsea perspective. Second half. A couple of sightings at goal for Mason Burstow and Harvey Vale, but thus far unable to break the deadlock. But maybe we could here with Castillo.
He's too honest. Castillo, there was a foul there.
Big chance here for Sago Jr. Just puts it wide. It's agonisingly close.
Yeah, and Chelsea would have been bitterly disappointed there because that was their best period of play in this second half. That's wonderful centre-forwards play. Gilchrist knows he can't make much of a physical challenge there. Was it be a penalty kick? Sago Jr. doesn't miss by much at all, but lovely, intricate football from Chelsea. 4 or 5 players involved. Juan Castillo definitely hindered with a little pull or maybe a little clip of his heels. Just meant that his pass went astray. Vital moment.
It's one of those as well. Just looking at the replay, you wonder again if the centre-forward doesn't stay on his feet. Does the referee make a decision there, because he's wriggled away from Gilchrist, who's done just about enough, but was contact. Thankfully, from a Chelsea perspective, wasn't, and it didn't. So back underway here. Lovely feet from Harvey Vale. Here's Castillo. Cross can't find Burstow. Ben Elliott just throws his body at it to try and get something on it. Brookin can't get it under control. Here's Waneri. Bandera. Brilliant tackle from Harvey Vale. Does so well, as does Burstow. Elliott looking wide for Gilchrist now. Castillo. So maybe we'll see Chelsea's first change of the evening imminently. Malik Mothersill just getting some last-minute instructions from Mark Robinson. Player that's had a huge impact in many a PL2 game this season, is usually off the bench since returning from injury, but is always a live wire, tricky customer. Play with both feet, direct, quick. A couple of games we've done so far this season, Sam, he's been really impressive.
Yeah, I like him. He can play a variety of roles as well. Invariably central striker, but I've seen him play as a 10. I've seen him play wide to good effect. He's direct. I think he's a good substitute as well. Not to say he can't start games, but I think he picks up the pace of a game very quickly, and he's very direct, and sometimes games call for that, someone to take chances in the final third, and hopefully he can bring that to the party this evening.
Deep cross from Hutchinson. I think you're absolutely right, and I think the one thing that you probably would say, which is again a huge credit to him, is that every time he does come off the bench, he seems to make an impact. And in fairness to him as well, the three that start in his position, one being Harvey Vale, the other being Mari Hutchinson, who's Chelsea's top goal scorer, and likewise Mason Burstow. And here's an opportunity for Arsenal to perhaps go down the end before Chelsea can make that substitution. Sosa, well defended by Gilchrist, and Brook in between them. Kit Cannon's actually off the Arsenal man, so it'll be a Chelsea goal kick. Double change for Chelsea, and Castillo going to be replaced by Brody Hughes. And Mason Burstow, who's going to be replaced by Malik Mothersill.
I was interested to see who was going to be departing there, to see if maybe Mark Robinson just flipped it and went with the two strikers to finish, but looks like Mothersill's still going to be supported by Hutchinson and Vale coming from slightly deeper. See if that alters the shape at all, with Brody Hughes being introduced for Castillo. Looks like Sturge has maybe just come over to the left-hand side, a little bit higher. Wait and see.
I've been impressed with Zach Sturge this season as well. Obviously, joined in the summer from Brighton, plays left back, left centre back, left wing back. I think he's been a brilliant addition to the development squad and has played very well in large number of PL2 games so far this season. He's certainly shown that he's very versatile, very capable of playing a number of different roles, and very important to this Chelsea team wherever and whenever he plays. Brighton have pulled a goal back in the other PL2 game this evening. West Ham 2-1 up there at the moment, but keep an eye on that. Also still one apiece between Spurs and Crystal Palace, and still goalless between Forest and West Brom. Flip round a corner from Waneri. Just going to fall back to Ethan Waneri. Well, to wriggle away and create an angle, but never troubling the goalkeeper.
No, the first bit's good. Gets hold of the ball well, little drop of the shoulder, but maybe had another pass in this. He's digging the strike out. Eventually the ball's under his feet on his less favoured right side as well. Can't work the goalkeeper. Definitely been a reshuffle. Dion Rankin is over on this left-hand side now.
Yeah, looks like just a little reshuffle, and Brody Hughes has gone to right wing back with Ranking to left wing back. Just seen Brody Hughes play that in the UEFA Youth League games a little bit earlier on in the season, either right back or right wing back. He's played right midfield as well at times for the 18s in the past. So again, a very versatile player that can fill a number of roles. 15 minutes to play here at Kingsmeadow. Still goalless between Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah, it looks like a back four, doesn't it? Hughes, and then Brooking, Gilchrist, Sturge, right to left, two holders, and then Rankin, Hutchinson and Vale supporting Mothersill. So a change in shape and in personnel as we approach the last 15 minutes. See if this can open up Arsenal.
Still Leo Castledine and Silko Thomas options from the substitutes bench should Mark Robinson want to reshuffle again at some point in the final 15 minutes. But here are Arsenal on the break. It's another important stop from Slonina.
Yeah, he could have been made to look foolish there, couldn't he? Because I think he did read the cross that was going to be flashed across, the 6-yard box, but doesn't get too far away from his near post. That means he can just extend that right leg and make the save. He's done well. He's not had too much to do, but made 3 now good saves.
Bradley Ibrahim just made a 10-yard dart there to barge into Slonina, and I hope that the referee didn't see anything, but I think everybody in the ground saw it. Crowding the Chelsea goalkeeper right down his throat there inside the 6-yard box. A lot of Chelsea and Arsenal bodies. Penalty taken by Smith. Just bouncing around it. Couldn't find its way in here. Scrambling. Chelsea eventually get it clear. Could be on the counter-attack here with Brody Hughes. He's done really well because very nearly prodded a ball into direction of Malik Mothersill. I'm sure we'll get another look at that in a minute, Sam, but very, very close to the Arsenal opener.
Yeah, Slonina made a good save in amongst that mess as it was. Scramble. Maybe just too many bodies in the 6-yard box for him to come and collect initially. Certainly a good save in there from a head-up.
Chelsea now with Brody Hughes. Elliott, flip round the corner from Vale. Lovely step over from Rankin.
Get up to the ball! Brad, over Brad!
Gilchrist into Sturge. Well played from Zach Sturge. Now Amari Hutchinson. What can he conjure up? Very nearly snuck in at the near post via a deflection. Here is that melee a moment ago. 2 or 3 actually important stops. He just gets his body in the way a couple of times, doesn't he, Slonina? Does really well.
Yeah, I think the initial delivery, Sturge was just too tight to the goalkeeper for him to clutch it.
Hutchinson can't find Elliott, and ball rolls out of play. Just over 10 minutes of normal time to play here at Kingsmeadow. Another double change for Chelsea, and it will be Dion Rankin that's going to be replaced by Silko Thomas. And Harvey Vale going to be replaced by Leo Castledine. Like for like in both situations, Sam, in terms of formation-wise, do you think?
Yeah, it looks that way. Silko Thomas has stayed down on this near side. Going to take the place of Rankin, and Castledine, similar to Vale in that he's a goal scorer essentially. A forward player, attacking midfield player, very, very versatile, but got got a good eye for a goal like the departing Harvey Vale. Hopefully, a chance will fall his way in the time that remains. It's been a little bit more even, I would say. Last 15 or so, Arsenal have posed a bit more of a threat than they did do initially in this second half on the counter-attack. A little bit scrappy. It's lacked a bit of quality, hasn't it, since the break? I've got to say.
Hopefully those final 2 Chelsea changes will bring about a winner in the final 10 minutes of play here at Kings Meadow. Here's Bandera to fire the ball into teammates' path, but his first sight of Silko Thomas. Sturge had to be alert and did really well, Zach Sturge. Now Murray Hutchinson to the path of Brody Hughes. Does really well, Brody Hughes. It's going to fall to Zach Sturge. Pinball in the end. Chance not over though. Maybe it is now.
Just didn't catch it, did he, Sturge? Arrived perfectly. I think it actually struck Mothersill, but should have done better with the initial effort.
Here's Silko Thomas. Chelsea looking to get on with things. No, Castledine. Hutchinson. Brody Hughes. Lewis Hall with the in-swinger. Free header. I don't think he gets a touch on it in the end, actually, Sam. It looked like Leo Castledine was going to drift in and power that one into the gaping net, but I think he just evades him.
Yeah. Just maybe a fraction too high, or his timing was a little bit out. Leo Castledine, it's that good a ball that it nearly ends up in the far post as well from Lewis Hall. And what a big goal it would be now at this late stage of the game in the context of the race for the PL2 trophy.
Arsenal reacting to a little flurry of Chelsea chances with a change of their own, and Jolido off.
Sorry, it feels like Mark Robertson's gone for this as well, because you've got forward players high now and wide. Obviously, previously we were relying on the wing-backs for the width, but you've got out-and-out forwards high up the pitch now. It feels like a really attacking couple of substitutes to go in search of this winning goal, which would obviously close the gap and give real momentum to Chelsea as they try and hunt down the league leaders.
Absolutely right, yeah. Draw doesn't really do a huge amount for Chelsea in terms of trying to make up ground on Manchester City. City have been fairly formidable recently as well, unbeaten in their only dropping points in 2 of the last 6. Points tonight will take Chelsea 4 points behind Manchester City, with City having a game in hand as well. So 3 points tonight will absolutely be the perfect remedy in what they're after. And they've got just over 6 and a bit minutes to find one. Bit of defending to do first though from Alfie Gilchrist, and his header is only as far as Suryan. Here's Smith. And Dira. Mothersill just preventing Walters from stepping in freely. Referee's played an advantage. He saw a foul in there, which doesn't benefit anyone, so Arsenal continue. Here's Ibrahim. All over the top, looking for a teammate, but Brody Hughes does Slonina a bit to do, but the goalkeeper does well to keep it in play and send it out for a throw-in. Five and a half minutes left on the clock here at Kings Meadow as Lewis Hall and Ben Elliott does really well there. Sturge looking forward for Mothersill. Headers up, but Mothersill might have a chance to sniff out here.
Be ready, Alfie. Be ready. Hide the ball. Hide the ball. Forward. Yes, man. River then. River. Lead. Tuck in.
Here's Ibrahim.
Match your runners. Broom. Free yourself, Broom. Don't go long. Zach, talk to Alfie, yeah? Zach, talk to Alfie. Yes, Broom.
Well, the Sil's going to pressure the goalkeeper. There's his Castledine. Chelsea trying to force Arsenal into a mistake, and they've given the ball out to Ben Elliott.
The box now, Phil, go, the box.
Here's Hutchinson.
Yeah, Alf, make sure.
Low-driven cross, it's going to fall to Leo Castledine. The deflection goes in. Chelsea have the lead. How important could that be? Leo Castledine's first PL2 goal of the season. Little deflection, but finally Chelsea have the breakthrough.
Well, they've rode their luck a little bit in this second half. Arsenal defended the 18-yard box pretty well to a point, but there's been a number of balls that have been half cleared to kind of the edge of the area towards the D, and on this occasion Chelsea player Leo Castledine in that exact spot once more. Once that ball's repelled, half cleared if you like, gets enough on the strike. The unfortunate player's Walters, who's actually probably been the pick of the Arsenal defenders in this second period, can only put it towards Leo Castledine, and as I said, enough on that left-footed strike once it gets the aid of a deflection to fly beyond the goalkeeper and give Chelsea a deserved lead, I would say, on the balance of the second half.
Leo Castledine has shown his goal-scoring prowess in under-18s Premier League. He's got 5 in 6 this season, 4 in 6 in the Youth League. Yet to score in the PL2 until tonight, his first of the season. How important could that goal be in the title race? You could hear the groans from Manchester right down to Kingsmeadow this evening. Chelsea have got some defending to do though before those 3 points are secured. You said when he came on, Sam, out he could be the difference maker, coming on for Harvey Vale, again a player that's certainly will be relied upon by Chelsea in the coming weeks and months to make the difference. And when you do get the opportunity to play in that position, I suppose he's answered every question that Mark Robinson would have asked him before he came on.
Yeah, he's got good energy, he's got really good attitude, and as important as those characteristics, he gets in goal-scoring positions and takes chances. He's a good finisher. So yeah, he made the box there. It was a position where Chelsea were getting quite a lot of joy, getting wide, getting to the byline, getting balls in, and Arsenal weren't really clearing their line. So if he's read the situation there, even better. Finished it off well.
Involved again, Castledine. It's going to fall to Hutchinson. Second he thought about hitting it, I think, Brody Hughes. Not quite away, Lewis Hall. Can he shift it? A little bit of space. Finds Castledine. He may have been looking for Silko Thomas actually there with the pass, but just over 90 seconds of normal time to play here at Kingsmeadow. Chelsea with an invaluable goal lead thanks to Leo Castledine's goal a few moments ago. Here's Amari Hutchinson now, how he'd like to have his say against his former side. There's Noweri. West Ham are 3-1 up elsewhere in PL2 tonight. Also still one apiece, Palace and Spurs, and Forest West Brom into the final few seconds of that one, still goalless there. But the all-important goal coming here at Kingsmeadow thanks to Leo Castledine. And at the other end, a player that's also been impressive tonight in Gaga Slonina will have an opportunity to slow things down, take maybe a few more seconds than usual for this goal kick, Sam.
Yeah, and they've limited Arsenal to probably a few opportunities, half opportunities from set pieces, shots from distance, so much more cohesive second half performance across all Chelsea units. And not only that, but hopefully if it stays like this, credit to the coach as well for bold tactical switch with 10-15 minutes to go, positive substitutions, a game which a point wouldn't have been a disaster as well against a good Arsenal side. So enormous credit if they've gambled and they go on and take maximum points.
Another Arsenal change there is Mauro Bandera. It's replaced by Mikhail Rosiak. Slonina long forward towards Lewis Hall, who did win the initial flick on, and now Motherseal's in a foot race against Walters. Players spun around, disorientated by the ball. Chased down again by Motherseal, does well, Lewis Hall. Retains possession.
Picked up so many of those balls in the middle of the pitch, especially in the second half. Arsenal being pressurised by Chelsea forwards, meaning that they can't get great contact on their clearance. And Chelsea players reading the situation, so often picking up second balls and springing attacks from there.
Foul from Hutchinson on Ibrahim. Clock very much against Arsenal at the moment, though, so no surprise they're trying to get the ball and get on with things as quickly as possible. Here's a substitute, Rosiak, but he's sprayed it straight into Silko Thomas. Now potentially a break on for Chelsea with Ben Elliott. Waneri. Sturge does well. Surely a foul, not given. Smith. Chance here for Sago Jr. Half chance there, Sam, but again, as the clock ticks down, that could well be a very, very rude opportunity missed for Arsenal.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to possibly spin into the path of Kerr. Fortunately for Chelsea, just rolled away, span away into Slonina's arms. And you can sense now the atmosphere's up. You can hear both technical areas barking instructions to their sides. Chelsea on the cusp of a really good win. You know, after everything that's gone before tonight, they were pressed back in the first half by a good Arsenal side, and they've made them look disjointed in this second period. It's been much better, much more control in the second half, and if either side deserves to win it, definitely Chelsea on the evidence of the second half. Been a much better side.
Idea from Josh Brookings to just loop the ball over the top into the path of a teammate, but no one else on the same wavelength as the fullback on that occasion. Final few moments here at Kings Meadow. Here is Smith. Brody Hughes steps in, and now Amari Hutchinson can stretch away. Nothing given by the referee. Looks very much a foul there, but Waneri gives the ball straight to Sturge. Sturge does so well, Zach Sturge. It's a full-blooded tackle there.
That's great stuff from Sturge, isn't it? Firstly, dispossessing an Arsenal player as they look to be in business, and then no wonder he's got a little bit of cramp. That was an incredibly athletic driving run at this stage of added on time. Motherseal didn't do him really any favours there with a little flick round the corner. Just needs to secure possession there. The defender was on the march, wasn't he, and potentially going to get him for a chance himself. So a shame that Walters, not for the first time actually in this second half, defended really well from an Arsenal perspective.
3-2 in the PL2 as well, by the way. West Ham Brighton. Late Brighton goal after a late West Ham goal. We know only too well about that one a few weeks ago. Yeah, very nearly shared the spoils when Chelsea played West Ham in PL2. Spurs and Palace still 1-1. Final few seconds there as well. We said it might take a moment of brilliance from one of the difference makers tonight, Sam. It's looking like it may have done just that with a difference maker in Leo Castledine, and perhaps a little bit of the rub of the green for Chelsea with the deflection, but fully deserving of that luck, because they've, especially in the second half, showed a huge amount of initiative to try and win the game, and as you've already eloquently put, the better of the teams in the second half.
Yeah, it was a number of chances leading up to the goal, wasn't there? They can defend this. He's done well, actually, Brody Hughes, since he's come on, in defence and attack. They've looked better as a back four. I'm not saying by any means that this is a formula to move forward with, but in this particular game, that switch at that stage has not only made them look better structurally, defensively, but have a little bit more of a threat going the other way as well. So looks to have been a inspired decision. Hopefully they can save all this.
The keeper's up as well, so final few seconds, maybe a last chance for Arsenal to snatch something at the death here. In swinging corner, it's a good punch from Slonina, and now could be the referee's blown full time. Chelsea won't get a second goal on the counter-attack, but it does not matter. 3 points secured here at Kingsmeadow. A late winner from Leo Castledine. Another clean sheet for the Chelsea back four and Gaga Slonina. A good night's work all round, Sam Parkin.
Brilliant night's work. You can see from the reaction of the crowd and the players, that's a massive win in the context of the season and in the way that it played out tonight against a really good Arsenal side. First half, I thought it was going to be a difficult night, but that's a fantastic victory.
Absolutely is. Chelsea 1-0 winners here at Kingsmeadow against Arsenal, and a game where few highlights really in terms of clear-cut chances, because both teams really tussling between each other and levelling each other out in the first half. Better the chances probably fall into the visitors, Sam.
Yeah, I thought they shaded the opening exchanges, certainly. It didn't really equate to massive opportunities. This was a tough few seconds or so. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty. This is a really good strike that gets blocked. And then instinctively, Emile Smith-Rowe just trying to guide that. Really good quality on the strike. Slonina setting his stall out, really, for what was to come this evening with an excellent save. Didn't have too much to do, but he looks like a really polished shot stopper.
Absolutely, yeah, we've seen him playing out with his feet as well, but like you mentioned about the shot stopping, and even here, just I suppose it's about a goalkeeper is as important to not make the saves, but know your angles. Yeah,
I mean, the turnover was very quick there. It took Chelsea by surprise in that Smith-Rowe was in acres of space, steadying himself, and he'd be disappointed with that, because he didn't quite catch it, just missed the near post.
Chelsea always pressing from the front under Mark Robinson, and very nearly had the opening goal of the game here. Chance for Lewis Hall.
Yeah, just maybe could have taken a touch and steadied himself. The ball was played to him at quite a nice weight, basically, that made his mind up probably to hit first time. Arsenal just playing blind a little bit, as they did on a few occasions, actually, making their own problems. That's a really good save from Slonina down to his left. I think he probably saw that late. It's swirling, it's moving, looks like it's going to creep in the bottom right-hand corner, and that was a second big stop from him in the first half.
He did have a very impressive game this evening, did Gaga Slonina. Chance here for Harvey Vale, and two attempts, 2 bites at the cherry here.
Yeah, and this was a feature of the second half. Shots from kind of 20, 25 yards, central positions when Arsenal couldn't completely clear their lines. Harvey Elliott on this occasion, probably his best sight of goal throughout the proceedings, just couldn't angle it towards either corner.
Again, Arsenal did always pose an attacking threat with players that they had on the pitch, even after Emile Smith-Rowe was substituted, but Sago Jr. there, top goal scorer in PL2. I think he'll still be wondering how he didn't hit the target there, because that is millimetres in that. He does everything well, doesn't he?
I'm actually going to credit the goalkeeper again here for staying big, closing down the angle. If you watch here, just stays big, makes it a tough finish for Sago Jr. Opts to find the far corner, but I don't think he probably even had a sight of that side of the goal. It's good defending from Gilchrist as well, not to commit himself.
It's a good mention there, actually, because the amount of times you see a goalkeeper come out and they thread it through their legs, you know, instinctively. But again, 2 or 3 important stops here, and more about, again, positioning, but also bravery to stand up rather than dive in and cause an issue there.
Yeah, I mean, he's all over the place there a little bit to a degree, isn't he? But I think it's so congested in the 6-yard box, he can't get a clean take, and just gets a couple of important touches to repel the danger.
A couple of changes towards the end of the second half, including Brody Hughes and Mari Hudson and Leo Castledine very nearly getting on in the end of that one.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball from Lewis Hall. Had a little look as well. He knows exactly what he's trying to do. Not sure why Leo Castledine didn't make contact with that one. Lewis Hall really unfortunate not to see that nestle in the far corner.
And eventually Chelsea would get a breakthrough, but brilliant work initially on that right-hand side from Amari Hutchinson. He stands up well, he forces an error, and then Leo Castledine, with a little bit of luck, gets his first PL2 goal of the season.
Yeah, but it's really positive from Hutchinson again in the wide positions. That happened a lot in the last 10 minutes. Wide players getting to the byline, able to get balls into the 18-yard box, and obviously it was difficult for Arsenal to clear. And it's just all about contact there for Castledine. Just hit the target, and he gets a little bit of luck. Obviously the deflection takes it flying beyond the goalkeeper into the opposite corner, but 100% deserved that on the balance of the play in the second half. It was a really good performance after the break.
It's been fantastic in all competitions for 18s and the development side this season, as Leo Castledine getting a lot of congratulations at full time, including one from a big Chelsea legend in John Terry, who was on the bench this evening. Again, all smiles as Chelsea beat Arsenal. That's always will be all smiles. And again, we've mentioned this before, because obviously, you know, JT's involved in the setup, but important that you have games like this that build character, and people like JT that you can speak to about building that character in terms of coming through games, because that's a huge win tonight.
Really big win. The feeling in the dressing room will be of real pleasure tonight. You know, against a London rival, tight game, not much between the two sides. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. You've got to enjoy nights like tonight, and it puts them right in the mix as well for a potential trophy at the end of the season. And having spoken to a few of the players recently, I know how much they want to achieve something this year. I think there's always pressure within the academy because of what's gone before. So that's a really big win, and hopefully it can go right down to the wire, and hopefully Manchester City feel the pressure.
Did you speak to Leo Castledine about first-time finishes? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I didn't. I played with Leo's dad. So yeah, I'm really pleased to see him doing well. He strikes me as a really good kid, because he's got a fantastic attitude and he's got an eye for a goal, which is equally as important.
Absolutely right. Still plenty to come this week, of course, on the Fifth Stand app and across Chelsea's social media channels for you. Friday afternoon, double press conference. Graham Potter speaking ahead of Chelsea versus Leeds in the Premier League this weekend, and of course Emma Hayes speaking ahead of that huge Conti Cup final on Sunday. Don't forget to join us for Matchday Live on Saturday, back at the Bridge, Chelsea versus Leeds. It's a historic one, it's a big one. There's plenty of derbies coming up, but the first derby of the week tonight finishes with Chelsea 3 points. Leo Castledine the difference. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 0. Thank you very much for watching.